Hi, Dave Billett, here to talk to you a little bit about leg cues. I'm on my Futurity horse, TS Blackhawk. He came off the Treasure State Quarter Horse Ranch in Montana, and hopefully we'll be ready to go in September for the CMSA Futurity. So with leg cues, some folks don't know how to ride with leg cues, and that's okay, but that's why we're here to teach a little bit about why they're important and how they can help you. Basically, there's 3 different leg cues on each side, and when I say leg cue, I don't mean, yeah, leg cue, let's go. I mean a leg cue to get your horse to pick up his shoulder, move his rib cage, move his hind quarters. Those are the 3 main leg cues. So to start, you want to make sure your horse is supple and you can bend and flex him, because that's going to help you to get these leg cues down and maintain them. Because it's not all leg, especially when you're starting out. You have to use some rein and some body position as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit as we go. So the first leg cue, if you want to zoom into my boot and my heel, the first leg cue is right basically at the girth, right behind the shoulder. And I don't have spurs on today. You can do this with or without a spur. And that cue is to move the shoulders. Your second cue is slightly behind that, and that's to move the whole rib cage. So when you're talking about their feet are moving simultaneously to the side. So your lateral direction comes from that rib cage and the center cue. A little bit behind that, right about where your rear cinch would be, that's for the hind quarters. So if you want to move just the hind quarters, you're going to reach back and cue back there. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to take Blackhawk here, and I'm just going to turn him to the left. I'm going to use my right leg in the forward position, right behind the girth, and I'm going to move his shoulders to the left, off of my leg. So, there we go. Like I said, I'm using reins as well, so I use my reins and my leg, and he pivots on the inside hind, or his left hind, and he moves away from that leg pressure. Same way going to the right, you're going to use your left leg, right at the girth, your neck rein, a little bit of your direct rein to keep his nose tipped, and you're going to pivot on that right hind foot. Now when they do that, you want them to step over on the front. You don't want them to step behind. If they're stepping behind, I think I'll try to do it incorrectly here. If he steps behind this front leg, like that, then he's backing through the turn. And you don't want that. You want him going forward through the turn. In most disciplines, there are some cases where you will want them to step behind, but most of the time you want them stepping over. So you want that forward momentum. So when you're starting your horse for these leg cues, it's important to keep them moving forward. If you try to just move them over right from a standstill, they might step behind and be incorrect. So if you just start them in a small circle, keep them moving forward, keep using that leg and that neck rein, and just slowly close that circle up until you feel them plant that hind foot and pivot around, and then let them out. So that is the basic start of how you will start your turnarounds for reining maneuvers. Reining, reined cow horse, all that type of stuff. That's your maneuver for your turnaround. Now, normally what I like to do before I go to the middle cue or the center for the rib cage, I'll go from the front and I'll go to the back. Because if you're going to go to the center and work both together, you got to get one and then the other first. They can't move them both if they can't move one or the other individually. So I'll go from the front, I'll go to the rear. So I'll move my leg back. Now this time with my reins, I'm basically just going to hold his nose. I'm going to keep this rein kind of close to his neck. This rein I'm going to keep against his neck. I'm just going to keep his nose tipped to my leg, and his hindquarters are going to go the opposite direction. So if I want his hindquarters to go to the left, I could tip his nose to the right. And they should pivot on this inside foot, the front right foot, when he's going to the left. We still have a little bit of work to do with him, but he's doing okay for a young horse. So when I start, I'm really going to pull their nose around to help move that hip. kind of gets them off balance. I'm going to look at the hip over my shoulder, reach back with that leg. There, he stepped over. I'm going to let him out. Let's do it again. He's stepping over, but I want him to plant this front foot. So if he's stepping all over the place, then I'm going to keep asking. Maybe ask a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Raise the degree of pressure until he stops that front foot and steps around. Right there, I'll let him out. And it's just, you only need one step and then build on it. There you go, good boy. Now I'll go the other direction. Go over my shoulder, look at the hip, push it across, hold that front leg still. There you go. Like I said, we're working on it. He's still learning, so. And then eventually you'll get to where you don't have to do as much with your reins. You can just reach back with your leg and push the hip over, like that. Just a little bit with the reins, reach back, push it over like that. Good boy. Now that cue is very important because that's where your lead departures come from. So if you're going to get the right lead, your lead comes from the left hind. That's the first foot in the lead departure. So if I'm going to cue for that left hind foot, outside hind, to go up under to get that lead, then I have to reach back with my left leg and push his hip in, right there. So then that will be your lead departure. Same way going, if I want the left lead, I'm going to reach back with my right leg, push the right hind up under. And that's your lead departure right there. So when you start raising the bar in your horsemanship and getting lead departures from a standstill, you have to have that maneuver down pat in order to do that. So now that we did the front and the hind, the shoulders and the hindquarters, now we're going to move the rib cage. So I'm going to come right in the middle of, like this is the front, this is the back cue. I'm going to come right in the middle, and I'm just going to kind of hold my reins. I'm going to take my opposite leg and push it off of him and open that door up so he has somewhere to go. I want him to move away from that pressure. So I'm just going to kind of keep him reined in here a little bit, and I'm going to push on that rib cage. Look where I'm going. I'm going to push him across. There you go. Same way going the other direction. I'm going to put it right in the center. Keep his nose tipped. Keep it forward. There we go, nice lateral movement. Now, if they're a little sticky at first, that's okay. The biggest thing is that forward momentum again. If you're trying to get your lateral movement, you don't want to pull back too much and get them backing up like that when you're trying to move them sideways. You want them forward. Go forward, and you can go just a little bit of a two-track, kind of get the rib cage picked up, pushed in, and build on that, build on it until you get lateral. There you go, right there. And leave them alone. Reward them. So that's basically your three different cues. And your middle cue for picking up the rib cage and side passing, that's very important, especially with horses you're using on the ranch to work gaits and trail riding. You know, you don't want to run your knees into trees. You know, if you're heading down a narrow trail, you can pick them up and move them over just a little bit, save your knees. You know, if you want to open a gate like here, this isn't the best gate to open, but you want to come into the gate. Side pass him right over. Now I can open my gate. We haven't done that with him very much, obviously. There you go. Good boy. Move him back over. Those are your three basic leg cues. said, once you get those three basic things down, you can build on that, get your horse a lot more fine-tuned, and it'll make them a lot more fun to ride, and it just creates a better partnership and a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and